Masters, thank you very much for clicking watch this video. This week I wanted to talk about Cypress. Cypress is an automation framework for testing, for end-to-end and API tests, right? And well, at the moment that I'm recording this video, I'm using the version 12.8.1, all right? And I wanted to show you some tips and tricks that could help you to use Cypress in and its features, right? For instance, from Cypress 12, we have now a test isolation configuration property that well, by default comes on, right? But we can turn it off. I want to explain you what is the difference and why this configuration is important. Then I want to show you how to disable logs for requests. Sometimes we have a lot of requests displayed in our test runner when our Cypress tests are running. So we can hide the XHR and fetch request types, right? That's important. Also, I want to show you an example of the command Cy.Origin. Now it is a general availability command, and I want to explain you an example of why this is important. And at the end, I want to explain you as well, an approach that Philip has published in his blog. And let's imagine that we have like our framework and we want to have different variables for different environments, right? So maybe the base URL and other environment variables are going to change depending on our the environment where we want to run our tests, right? So his approach is to have like different JSON files, right? That's beautiful. And we can load the JSON file then in our script, right? When we are running Cypress, for instance, if we want to run Cypress in the version prod, we are going to be capable to load all the variables that we have in the JSON file for prod, right? So I want to show you that implementation, and of course all the links that you can see at the top of the files are the sources where I find information, and I want you to come here to the repository and access the blog post or the release notes or the documents to have more context about what they're trying to explain, right? But this is like a introduction, and I hope that you like it. So let's go ahead and take a look at how this works. Let's start with the example for disable logs for request. Okay, as you can see under my end-to-end and my folder tip tricks, I have a disable logs for request file, and what I have is basically a describe, a test suite, right, named disable logs for request. And inside you can see a couple of code blocks. The first one is a test hook, right, before each, and in my before each, what I'll be doing is I'm gonna comment this is basically visit this particular website. Okay, that's it. And then in the it, right, my test case, I'll be doing a silly thing, but basically I'll be waiting for 10 seconds, right, to show you all the logs that are displayed. All right, let's do it. I'll be saving this file and I'll be opening Cypress. You can see that Cypress is gonna start waiting. You can see my waiting status. Let me find it. There it is. And under the wait log, you have a lot of requests, and every single one is logged in the test runner. You can see that every single request has a type. One of them is fetch, and the other ones are for XHR, right? And you can disable the logging of these kind of requests. How? Well, I have implemented the solution here. Also, you can see all the information here at the top of this file. You have the link to this particular, the official documentation where I extracted the information, right? Basically, this is a Cy.Intercept. We have seen a lot of examples here in the channel about Cy.Intercept. We can mock, we can spy, and we can do a lot of stuff. You just have to look for JoanMedia, Intercept, and you're gonna find at least 3 kind of videos about this for free, right? So just to a quick overview of what is going on here. Basically, it is intercepting every single request with the resource type XHR or fetch, and it is going to turn off the logging. So if I save this file and I run it again, you're going to see that now when we're doing the waiting action, now we don't have any logs about the requests that we are trying to intercept, right? are displayed in my test runner. Actually, if you scroll up, you're gonna see a routes part here, and you can see that it has stopped at least 28 requests. And well, as you remember in the code, we turned the logging off. And that's it, guys. That's a very interesting kind of tip and trick that I wanted to give you, right? I hope that you like it, and let's continue with the next one. All right, masters, let's understand the test isolation example that I have for you today, okay? You're gonna have a lot of information to read here in the test. You can access, for instance, the changelog, the announcing Cypress 12, and also a test isolation fully article understanding what is going on there. But let me give you an introduction. I'm gonna open this link, right? And let me explain you what is trying to explain Cypress with this, okay? There it is. So what is test isolation? It is basically a best practice, okay? And let me read it for you. Tests should always be able to be run independently from one another and still pass. Okay, so with this in mind, let me open my test runner here for you. Okay, npx Cypress open, and let me explain you this kind of dummy test case, right? That that I have for you here in the demo. Okay, I'm gonna open it in Chrome, and let me explain you the describe. This is a simple describe, and I have a couple of it blocks, okay? The first one is gonna visit the website, okay? So I just have a simple visit to google.com, right? And then I have another it, right? Where I can look for a search term. Let's imagine hello masters and then press enter, right? You can see the problem here, right? The second test case depends on the first one because I am not visiting any website in the second it. All right, that's basically it. So let's turn off in my Cypress config file the test isolation property. Okay, by default it is in true. So I'm doing something different here, right? Than the standard behavior in Cypress, because they are enforcing us to follow the best practice, okay? Let me open the test runner. And let me run the test isolation script. You're gonna see that the second script is going to work because it kind of inherits the site visit that we have in the first test, okay? Let me show you this, right? You can see the first test, I'm visiting Google, and the second test, I am currently capable to get the selector and type something because, well, the last site visit, well, it is sharing the state between its, right? That's what is going on there. And well, in the article, you can see a lot of more information like cookies, local storage, session storage, and so on. Actually, if you turn it or you use the default configuration true, right, you have everything here happening, all the information that you have here. But if you turn it off, well, you have all the other behavior here happening as well. So I invite you to come here, read it, and understand why test isolation is a good practice, right? And what changes now, what this test isolation means, and what kind of changes we have to do in our framework, okay? So let me show you what happened if I turn on the test isolation now, okay? I'll go back to my test runner, and you're gonna notice that now my second test is not working because, well, my test isolation property is true, right, by default, and my second test doesn't have any access to the state of the first test over here. All right, that's basically it, guys. That's important, and I recommend you to go to the documentation and read all the changes that were implemented in this Cypress version 12, right? Understand what is the Cy.Origin command. All right, the Cy.Origin command is gonna help us to visit multiple domains of different origin in a single test. You're gonna find a lot of examples here in the official documentation. The one that I'm gonna provide you, it's a simple one just for the demonstration, all right? So I'm gonna open my Visual Studio Code here, and you can see that I have a describe, okay? This describe has the name Cy.Origin quick example, right? I'm so creative. So that's the name that I placed. And then we have a before each hook which is going to visit the demoqa.com slash login website, which is basically this one, right, where we can perform a basic login, right? I'm doing the intercept, well, kind of trick, right, to hide the requests with the type XHR and fetch. That's something that we saw before, right? And now we're gonna run this particular it, okay? The only one. That's the only one that we're gonna run. And you can see that what is going to happen here is that the first command here is gonna check that this particular class has the text or have the text login, right? Okay, that's beautiful. Let me show you this. I want to make sure that this place of the website has the text login, right? That's it. But then I'll be visiting Google for some reason, right? Just for the demo. And I'll be looking for the selector of the search bar, and I want to type hello masters and then press enter so I can make a search, right? That's it. If I run this, let me run it for you. You're gonna see that, well, it is gonna visit the demoqa.com/login, and then it is trying to reach Google. However, there we have an issue, right? It is not capable to get this search bar over here. The reason of why this is happening is basically because of this. The command was expected to run against origin demoqa.com, the first domain or origin that we were using to validate the title. However, the application right now is at another origin, google.com. And we have to tell Cypress this kind of change, okay? And the way of how we do it, well, I'm gonna explain you that. I'm gonna just get rid of this only, and I'll be placing the only in my second it, because there is the solution, all right? I'm gonna save the file and let me give you the insights of this, okay? As you can see, the change here is that after the visit, for this particular case, you have a lot of them and more of them in the documentation with this particular link, okay? I'm gonna tell Cypress with the command Cy.Origin that at this point, I want to interact with this origin google.com. And now, inside of this Cy.Origin block, I'll be capable to look for the selector and type something. And that's it, guys. You're gonna see that now Cypress makes the magic over here. And for it, let me run it again for you. All right, there it is. It types hello masters, and then click or actually enter. Like it does like the enter action, right? That we do in our keyword. And there it is. It is working perfectly fine, guys. This is important because now Cy.Origin is a GA command. We don't have to turn on any experimental flag or something. And this is a very interesting stuff that I think you needed to know. All right, masters, I guess that it is time to understand the configuration switching that Philip has posted in his article. Let's try to understand this, all right? The first of all, I think it is important to mention that all the credits are to Philip. Philip is a Cypress ambassador. I think that you need to follow him because he is always creating a lot of content about Cypress for the community. So please go ahead and follow him. And all the credits are for him. But here in this blog post, he explains how to structure a big project in Cypress, all right? And one of the things that he covers is the switching, configuration switching, okay? So let's read a little bit about this. It is important to test work on multiple different environments, okay? To make things easy, I usually create a config folder that contains JSON files with all the environment-specific variables, such as baseUrl, URL of the API, or some other information that may be used during the test. That's totally true, right? We have to different variables for different environments sometimes, right? So the next part is telling us that these get fed into the env object from the JSON file and can easily be accessed by Cypress env. Okay, so here we have the setup, and the instructions that we have to follow is basically the line number 7, 9, and 11. All right, so let's understand what is going on. the first thing that he does is create a constant named version, right? And if we send a parameter, it is gonna use it, right? But if we don't specify anything, it is gonna use local by default. Okay, that's so important. And the reason of why it is important is because in the line number 9, it is going to require the JSON depending on the version that we want to load. Okay, so basically it is gonna fill the configuration.env with the JSON that we are extracting from the JSON depending on the version that we are trying to access. All right, I know it's kind of tricky, but you're gonna see it implemented in a few seconds and you're just gonna blow your mind. Okay, and then we're gonna be capable to change our base URL based on the environment configuration that we loaded before from our JSON. Okay, let me show you this example. You're gonna see why this is so awesome. Okay, I'm gonna open this. I'm gonna open my framework, and I have reproduced what he's trying to explain us. I have created a folder named config, and you can see that I have local JSON, prod.json, test.json, and UAT.json. Every single one has a different base URL, and you can see that it changes at the beginning. Local, right? Prod, test, or UAT. Okay, that's it. And you can see the names here, right? Local, prod, test, and UAT. If you remember in the configuration, right, when we are not specifying a version, it is gonna use local by default. Okay, that's why I have a local.json here. So with this in mind, it's done. the implementation is done, and it is now a matter of send the value or not to load this particular JSON or any other one. Let me show you how. Okay, I'm gonna run npx Cypress open, right? And you're gonna see that the test runner is gonna load the base URL local, okay? Because I'm not specifying any value, right? However, let's imagine that I want to run my framework using maybe the UAT environment, okay? So I have created a script for you here, right? That its name is runner in UAT environment. And you can see that it is doing basically a Cypress open. I'm sending environment variable named version with the name UAT. If you remember, if I go to the Cypress config.ts, well, now you can see that I am getting the version, and I'll be using that version to get access to the JSON file. That's beautiful, right? So let me run it for you. Runner in UAT environment, npx or npm, I'm sorry, in this particular case. Run and the name of the script that has the alias for environment version UAT. Okay, there it is. See if it works or not. Let me just drink a little bit of water here. Don't know why it is not working. Let me try it again. npm run. Runner in UAT environment. And you can see now that we have the base URL UAT. This is something that, well, I loved how Philip implemented, and I wanted to share with you this solution because I think it's so awesome. And if you have another one, please let me know in the comment section, but I love it. I think that it is one of the best ones. So thank you very much, Masters. I hope that you see a lot of value in this video. Let me know in the comment section if something there was something that you didn't know, or if you know how to do it better. I'll be more than happy to read it. So please just post it in the comment section, and thank you very much for all the support that you are providing to the channel. Thanks again, and see you in the next one, Masters. Bye bye.